I go where I am known. I go where I'm not an illusion. Where I go, I've noticed. Everybody goes there. Everybody goes there.
Hello and welcome, everybody, and thank you for your patience. For whatever reason, Facebook had disconnected, and sometimes Facebook doesn't always play nice with other third-party software systems. But welcome to Around Town TV. My name is Carla Berlin. Minnesota's lifestyle and business experts, we've been bringing you the best kept secrets, businesses, organizations, and people since 2003. We are the Twin Cities' longest airing television community showcase. And in fact, next week we'll celebrate 22 years on air, which, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And I'm so grateful to all of you. And tonight, I'm so thrilled to have here with me the executive director from Minnetonka Center for the Arts, back with me, I should say, Roxanne Heaton. Thank you for joining me again.
Thanks for having me back.
Oh, you bet. And what I'm really excited about, we're going to talk about a couple different things, but the most robust summer arts program in the Twin Cities is the Minnetonka Center for the Arts summer camps. Let's talk about why that stands out from any other arts programs in the Twin Cities.
Well, you know, Carla, we've been doing this a long time. So this camp started back in the 80s, and it's so we know what we're doing, and we do it really well. We have an extraordinarily competent group of teachers that deliver the program, and we have a really extraordinary program director that develops the classes in conjunction with those teachers, and they're unique. A lot of them we offer every year some basic classes in the fundamentals of different medium like painting, drawing, sculpture, ceramics, and so on. But 30 to 40% of our classes every year are brand new. And a lot of them are reprisals of ones we've done in the past, but many of them are ones we've never done before. So there's always, even if you've come to camp a number of times, there's always something new and different to try. And now we've been around long enough that we have people that I can't tell you how many conversations with people that have said, you know, I came here for summer camp and now I'm bringing my kids. So this is kind of a nostalgic moment for a lot of people, I think, because they've been participating in this program in different capacities for decades. So,
oh, that's always wonderful when their kids and then grandkids and can join. And I know the ages are 5 to 15, but can you tell us about the range of art classes offered and how they are tailored to the different age groups?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that makes it so special. So there's 4 different age groups. The tracks run concurrently, so that the camp is every day from 9 to 4. There's 2 sessions. There's a morning session from 9 a.m. to noon, and then there's an afternoon session from 1 to 3 or 1 to 4. So the tracks run simultaneously. The youngest classes are ages 5 and 6. Then there's a group B for ages 7 to 9, and then there's a group C for ages 10 to 12. And then there's a group D for ages 13 to 15. So the kids are with kids that are the same age as they are. And then the programs are specifically geared to, you know, where the kids are in the various stages of development. So we're asking them to do the right things at the right age.
I love that. And I know you have over 100 different classes. What are some of the most popular and unique ones that you're offering?
Well, like I said, we do a lot of the basics. So you can see behind me some samples, for example, of the from the painting class. We'll teach acrylic painting. We'll teach watercolor painting, and we do some different themed classes. So we might have a landscape painting class, like this here shows you how we might demonstrate teaching kids how to paint landscapes in watercolor in different parts of the country or different areas of the world. So there's those basic classes, and then We do a lot of ceramics classes. Honestly, I don't know what there is about clay, but the clay classes are often some of the first to fill. We do have some spots available, though, I will tell you that. Like this is a sample from a class that we taught on Mexican pottery. We also teach classes about making critters. So this is this very precious little turtle that somebody made. Or this lovely owl. And all of these classes involve teaching some basic techniques. So in a class like this, you'd learn about how to work with a slab, how to put pieces of clay together, slipping and scoring and so on. We also have a class, which this is one of my favorite, actually. I'll show you this little box. It's called Teeny Tiny Paintings. It's taught for a couple of different age groups, and all the kids get these little boxes that are filled with different sizes of small canvases, and they have little teeny tiny paint brushes. Let's see if I have one in here too. So they learn how to paint very, very small, and little pots of paint, of course. So they learn how to paint very little tiny paintings on these teeny tiny canvases. It's a super popular class and really fun.
Oh, I bet.
I have a sample. This is actually, I don't have one live, but this is a copy of some work that was done in one of the teeny tiny painting camps last year. So that's pretty fun.
So one of the younger ages?
Actually, I think this is taught in two different age groups. I think it's taught in the 7 to 9 and in the 10 to 12 age group. So
that's spectacular. Wow.
And there's a couple places where we combine those age groups, but for the most part, there's just a 2 or 3 year spread of ages with the kids in the class.
That's smart.
We also do a lot of work with fiber, and the Minnetonka Center for the Arts has a well-established fiber program that we've been running for a number of years. I know you might remember from our holiday show, we had a lot of woven pieces in that show, but this is a sample from a kids class, so the kids can learn the basics of the basic weaving techniques, and we just happened to turn this one into a wall hanging.
Oh, wow. I could see a purse too. I mean, not this, but that just made me think of that too, making a purse.
And we do some interesting classes in the sewing realm. So we'll invite the kids in one of the classes. They can bring like their favorite pair of jeans or some T-shirts, and they can remake them sometimes into a completely different type of clothing, or they can do all kinds of different things with surface decorations and sewing. And they learn some basic techniques about how to use a sewing machine and how to do applique and how to do some embroidery and those sorts of things. So that's a lot of fun too. The fiber classes are really popular. A lot of those classes will culminate at the end with a fashion show, and we'll set up parents, and we'll set up a runway in the main corridor at the Art Center, and the kids will model their creations. So
that's great. Why is it so important for kids and teens to turn off their screens and engage in creative experiences like these during these summer camps?
Well, there's so many reasons for that. I just hardly know where to start, but obviously I have a bias.
Right.
But I think it's hard to, you can't really underestimate the importance of creative expression in all of our lives, I think, and especially for kids. For a lot of kids, it gives them a voice that they don't have another way. It's a way that kids can be kind of drawn out. They use their imaginations. They use their problem-solving skills. There are lots of opportunities in these classes for social interaction. The kids, we do classes that are specifically group project classes. I noticed in the photos that you showed at the beginning of the spot, there were some kids that were painting on a mural. Last year we had a wonderful, absolutely beautiful mural created by 10 to 12-year-olds that we had on display for quite a while. We hated to take it down. It was so spectacular. But that social interactions, just so important. And these are skills that that translate into a lot of different aspects of life. I think that's why it's just so important to offer them as much as you can. One of the things that parents love about this camp too is that it's so incredibly flexible.
I was just going to ask you for their busy schedules.
Right. You can sign up for as little as a half a day, or you can sign up for the whole summer, or you can sign up for all points in between. So a lot of parents like it because it can work around other things that they're doing. So if the kids are crazy into art, we're happy to have them for the whole summer. But we know that kids like to do sports camps, and there's lots of other activity options out there. So
and they can come the whole day too, instead of half the day, correct?
Right. We have a supervised lunch period if they're here for the whole day. So and if the weather's nice, a lot of times we can get outside for those lunch breaks, and also for the breaks that we take during the classes. We try to get the kids outside as much as we can. We also have some projects that are nature related, like for example, in the past we've done classes where we taught kids how to make solar prints. So they actually took photographic paper and put objects on the special photographic paper and did solar prints outside. So as often as we can and as often as it makes sense, we offer classes that are largely based outside too.
Oh, I love that. Now let's talk about, and you touched on it a little bit in the beginning, your instructors and what makes their teaching approach so special.
Well, they're incredibly talented up front. I mean, they're all just talented artists, and many of them are professional educators too. We get teachers who are, will teach art during the normal school year that will come for camp classes. One of the things that people also like a lot about our program is we have small class sizes. So a lot of the classes, most of the classes are limited to 16, and some of them are 10 or 12. And almost always there's a teacher and an assistant, and sometimes two assistants. So, there's just a lot of individualized attention. Those assistants are oftentimes college students who are studying, they're in an art track or an education track. So they bring that kind of expertise as well. They all love kids. And our program director is also extraordinarily talented. And she actually was a teacher for us for many years before we hired her on in an administrative capacity. But she's also there to back up and help develop the classes, obviously, as well. So
that's great. What is the difference between regular camps and the summer art samplers?
Oh, that's a good question. The week of 4th of July, because a lot of people have different plans that week for either weekend, we changed the offerings a little bit to make it easier for people to sign up for just a day or two since a lot of the classes are full week classes. The younger kids classes, the 5 and 6-year-olds, those are all half-day classes, but the classes for the older kids generally are a week long. But that week of 4th of July, we offer what we call sampler classes. So they're just half day. They're little sound bites, if you will. And what they are is a sample. Most of them have, there's a class later in the summer that is an expansion of that class, and a full week of the same topic, essentially. So you can take a half day if you really like it. Then you can sign up for a whole week of the same medium subject matter later in the summer.
Oh, I love that. What about adults? Do you offer any classes for adults?
We're probably most well known because that's how we started for our classes for adults. And we do year-round classes, including in the summer. Our summer program is a little different than it is the rest of the year. Most of the time we work on 8-week sessions. Not all of our classes are 8 weeks long, but many of them are 7 or 8 weeks long. And then we also offer workshops that are also those little soundbite experiences. But in the summertime, our adult classes are 4 or 5 weeks long. So they're a little shorter experience, which people appreciate in the summer if they're working around a vacation schedule as well. Absolutely. And then we had so many people, Carla, that have come to camp and dropped their kids off and said, I want to take an art camp. So actually this year in our adult program, we started offering what we call Arts Camp for adults. And we've got, if anybody's interested in signing up this session, we have a session that's just started this week. And we have these Arts Camp for adult classes that will include 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 different mediums. So you can come and learn a little bit about stone carving. You can have a clay experience. You might have a drawing experience. You might learn about mosaics. And every week it's a different subject. So if it's a great way for people that just think, oh, I'd love to take an art class, but I don't know what to take, and they want to sample our offerings. We provide all the materials. That's included in the price, so you don't have to worry about shopping and bringing materials. You just have to show up, and then a lot of times people will find one or more things that particularly work for them, and then they'll come back and take a longer duration class in that same subject matter. So you're never too old to go to camp.
No, you're not. And you're not kidding. I understand why you have the most robust program and clearly what sets you apart. How do you think these classes, these summer art classes, help young artists grow in their skills over time?
Well, I think a lot of kids are in schools that don't have the advantage of a robust art program, so they just wouldn't get exposed to some of the things that we offer were it not for the summer experience that their parents create for them. I think what it does for a lot of kids, similarly as I explained with the Arts Camp for adults, it exposes them to a lot of different things if they come enough, and then they can find things that particularly work for them. I have a wonderful story about a young man he's now probably in his 40s, but he came here many, many years ago to camp class. And in that context of summer arts camp, he took a ceramics class and he absolutely fell in love with ceramics. And he did ceramics whenever he had a chance. He's signed up for weekend classes. We have programs for kids the rest of the year as well. We don't just do kids programming in the summer. So he was here after school and on weekends taking ceramics classes whenever he could. And when he went away to college, he majored in ceramics, and he ultimately became a professional potter. And he trained here. So there's no telling where the artistic journey will lead.
What a great story. Thank you for sharing that. And we've had a lot of people consistently online through this show. Yeah, and I know a lot of families are probably thinking, okay, and I did put a ton of information with links, but let's talk about where families can go to register and what they should know about the deadlines and member discounts as well.
Absolutely. Well, there's a couple different ways you can register. You can register online at www.minnetonkaarts.org. And you click on the button that says register for classes and then select Summer Arts Camp. You'll also see our classes for adults. So you have to make sure you click on the button for Summer Arts Camp. And then the next step is to click on the classes for the age group that you're interested in. You can also register over the phone if you want to call the main number during normal business hours. There's someone there now ready to take your calls. We're open till 9:00 on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. So you can also register over the phone if that's a little bit easier. One of the nice things, and again, to speak to that flexibility that we talked about earlier, you can register up till the time the class starts, if there's space available. So, and we do have that happen where people will call and say, I'd like to sign my kid up for X this week. Is there any room? And they're literally signing up as they're coming through the door for class. We don't recommend that because a lot of the classes fill, but that being said, sometimes there's cancellations at the last minute. So, it's always worth a check. And if you log on to the website, if a class is sold out, it will show up as sold out. It'll still be posted on the website, but there'll be a little banner that says that it's sold out. So,
and I did put the actual link to make it easy for everybody who's online. Just right above this video, just click on the link to go to the summer camps, and you're all set.
Perfect. And if people want to sign up really for more than 1 or 2 classes, they want to consider a membership. If you're a member of the Minnetonka Center for the Arts, you get a 10% discount on all the classes that you take for the term of the membership, which is 12 months. So the membership, you get a tax deduction, and it pays for itself really quickly if you're gonna sign up for many classes. So you want to make sure to take advantage of that.
Fantastic. I want to switch gears just a little bit. I hear and you sort of mentioned it too, but the girls at Newsworthy Communications told me there's a very special exhibit on watercolors right now. Can we talk about that, and how can the public enjoy it?
Absolutely. I'd love to talk about that.
Yeah.
We have a long-standing partnership with the Minnesota Watercolor Society. And the Minnesota Watercolor Society, I don't know if you're familiar with that organization, but they have a really impressive roster of artists that are so incredibly capable. And we host this exhibit. We've done this for a number of years. Every other year, they have their spring exhibit at the Minnetonka Center for the Arts. And it's highly competitive. There are a number of awards, and there's a lot of competition for those awards. So the quality of the work is just really extraordinary. So it's on display in our gallery now. The gallery is open whenever the Art Center is open. It's free and open to the public, so you can come anytime during normal business hours, which are also on our website. But we're open Monday through Saturday from 9 to 4, except Tuesdays and Thursdays we're open in the evenings till 9. So there's lots and lots of opportunity. I think this closes May 12th. I believe I've got that date right. So there's a little bit of time left, but not a lot to come by and see it. Would you like me to spin the camera around here so we can give your viewers a little bit of a glimpse? The name of this exhibit is Reflections.
Okay.
And there's a lot of work here that is water themed, which, can be challenging to paint, that's for sure.
Yes.
If we have a little bit of time, I could walk around and show you a few of the
pieces. Yep, we do. Absolutely. We're making great time. Yeah.
So we'll stop here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Around the holidays, we did this for your craft fair and sale, and just love that to get a little. Oh wow, look at that!
So this one on the bottom of these two girls on a beach. This one, an honorable mention. This is a piece by Tara Sweeney. It's called A Perfect Pair.
Watercolor. That's amazing.
It's just a lovely, lovely watercolor of these two girls on the beach.
Remarkable work. Wow.
And right next to it, we have this gorgeous, can you see that all right? It's a fish. This got an award of merit. It's called Big Mouth, and it's by an artist by the name of Deborah Everson.
Okay. Nice work, Deborah. Wow.
And
oh, look at that. Yeah.
These turtles are, let's see. I don't know why I love these sea turtles, but supposedly they're surfing Waikiki there.
I wish I was.
And this is another lovely piece. This is called Home from the Deep. Watercolor is just a really interesting medium. We have a really strong watercolor department, and a number of these pieces were done by people who either are taking or have taken classes at the Minnetonka Center for the Arts, and some of them are done by instructors. I'm going to take you down here because this is got one of the top honors. And this is actually done by someone who has taught workshops for us from time
Thank you.
to
Yeah.
time.
Oh, wow.
This is called Early Start. The artist's name is Jim Turner. He's just an amazing, incredibly
great.
talented painter.
It's easy
And
to
it's got
see
first
what
on-
sets you apart. It
I'm
really
sorry?
is. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. It's really easy to see what sets your just Minnetonka Center for the Arts in general apart, but everything you do is spectacular.
Thank you. Thank you. We're really proud of this show, especially because it's just such extraordinarily high caliber work.
And for anyone who's just tuning in, I have Roxanne Heaton, the executive director of Minnetonka Center for the Arts, and we were talking about their summer camps for ages 5 to 15. But then we switched gears, and we've been talking about their watercolor exhibit called Reflections, and she's just giving us, kind of walking around, showing us some of the amazing work.
I'm going to show you what got the highest award in the show. This is just a really interesting piece, and this is done by a woman by the name of Georgia Candico, and she's actually an instructor here. This got Best in Show.
Oh, wow.
Can you see the colors in that?
Yes, I love the green and pink and yellow together.
It's called Artful Docent.
Interesting. Huh.
And it's just a really interesting combination of the background and the portrait study. The woman or the gentleman who juried this show is a very talented teacher by the name of John Salmonen, and we've actually had him here for workshops. And at the beginning of the presentation awards night, he talked about the challenge of jurying a show and the somewhat arbitrary nature of the selections, in that, he said the same person could come back the next day even and make slightly different selections, but another person is going to see something different. So he was kind enough to, as these awards were made, to offer very detailed descriptions about what he saw in each one of these pieces and why he selected them. And it was incredibly interesting to me, as I'm not a painter, but it was fascinating to hear from him and what he saw in each one of these pieces. For example, we have another one over here that also won an award. This was done by the president of the Watercolor Society.
Oh, wow.
Dan Kuchenbecker, I think is the way he says his name. And what attracted the juror to this piece is he thought how interesting it was, because it's not what generally you think of as the subject matter for a landscape painting.
Right.
But
yeah.
He found beauty and a great deal of strong technical skills in this, but very interesting piece, I think, of
right.
An old
to make something like that look
piece.
So beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What a talent. Oh, I think we might have lost her, but she'll jump on again. I was actually just going to compliment her because it's very hard to walk and talk, even when you have a camera operator. And here she was, but she'll probably jump back in here in a second and join us. For those who are tuning in, as we do have a lot of people online, my name is Carla Berlin, host of Around Town TV. We're going to be celebrating 22 years on air next week. I'm so excited. And we've been talking to Roxanne Heaton from the Minnetonka Center for the Arts. She has been just a delight. We had her on before the holidays and we showcased their holiday sale. And now we've been talking about all their summer camps. They have the most robust summer camp arts program in the Twin Cities. And then we switched gears and she was giving us a tour of Minnetonka Center for the Arts, of their display, their watercolor display called Reflections. And when she was walking around giving us that little tour, I think she must have somehow it got disconnected, which can happen. I was just going to, like I said, I was just going to compliment her on her walking and talking. So hopefully she will rejoin me here in a second. And we'll see here if she's going to be I have a feeling she will, but probably has to get back to her desk. And we'll see what happens here. I'm glad that we covered most everything we were going to. Just kind of waiting to see if I hear from her or if she'll be joining us again here. For those who are interested in signing up for the classes, I'm pointing because above this video has all the information on their summer camps, the link, where to go, how you can become a member to save 10%, to get that discount. And it's good for a full year. And it has all the age groups, a lot of the different types of classes, from painting to drawing to sculpture, fiber art, ceramics, stone carving, mosaic art, mixed media, collages, and much, much more. And I know they've been booking up quickly here. So I am going to see if she was jumping back on here. I'm just going to text her to see. Copied. Let's see if she sees my text here. Just texting her, happy to have her rejoin us at the link I sent. You know, these things, technology is wonderful when it works, but I'll tell you, whenever there's a problem, that can really, really cause. Oh, here she is. Yay.
Did it work?
It did work. I was just saying, you know, I was just going to compliment you. And I talked about this on walking and talking with a photographer is so difficult. So many on-air talents can't. And I was just going to say, not only are you your own photographer, an on-air person doing the tour, you're like a pro at it. And then just as I was going to
disconnected.
And then we got disconnected. But that happens. That's part of it.
Not that good at it, I guess.
No, you were. And you'll see a text I was just going to ask. But no, I was just kind of reiterating some of the things we talked about while we were waiting. So we're good. And we still have a great crew on. So you can pick up right where you left off.
I kept talking because I wasn't sure if you could still hear me. So.
Oh, yep. No, as soon as it went, we lost you.
Okay. So I just I did want to show you a couple of other things because.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
There's some really special pieces. And, you know, honestly, I'm showing you the award winners, but they're all so great. It's just hard to.
No. Yep. We were at the one with the winner of the tree, and it looked like, the bus. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. This is another one that's kind of, I think, pretty fascinating. This is called Reflecting on the Future, and it's done by an artist by the name of Karen Knutson. The colors in this piece are just extremely interesting, and I think the uniqueness of this portrait is what draws me to it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, I love the eyes. I'm drawn into those eyes. Mm.
And then I wanted to show you. I'll just kind of take a slow walk down the wall here.
Yeah, this is
good. I have to show you one of the other award winners. This is absolutely amazing to me. The detail in this. This is called Reflective Nostalgia. I just want to make sure I'm not getting a glare on that. Can you see?
No, it looks good. Yep, we can see that.
Yeah. Can you appreciate the detail on the screen? It's amazing. This got an award of merit, and what the judge talked about that attracted him to this piece was the extraordinary amount of detail. Every time I look at this, I see something different.
Yes, there's so much in that portrait.
A lot packed.
A lot going on
in a small space. That's for sure.
Yes. This would be one you're going to see something different every time you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's beautiful.
And then I wanted to show you one other one that I have to remember where it is, that is really just has an incredible treatment of the light.
Okay.
And I think it.
No problem. We've got a good crew online, so I'm glad we were able to get you back on.
Yeah, that was just luck. Well, this is not it, but this is also one that's kind of fun.
That's
This
all
is a,
right.
this is
Yeah,
a
that is.
painting that is called Season's Whisper.
Ah, and for those that are maybe just jumped on, we are looking at the watercolor display at the Minnetonka Center for the Arts, various portraits, but also it's called, the theme is reflections, correct? Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
And you can see that in each one of these pieces to varying degrees. This is
Mhm.
the one I wanted to got an honorable mention. And
Okay.
what the juror talked about with this is just the extraordinary light characteristics. You have the sunlight streaming in the
Mhm.
room, and I don't know if you can
A
appreciate
little
this
bit
on
of
the
a
screen. But
reflection on that one.
do we
Let's
have
see
see
there.
if I can get it? Does
Oh
that
yeah,
help if I tilt
that
the?
helps. There you go. Perfect. Ooh, I love that. Wow.
And all of this work is for sale. This piece actually is an example of a piece that's sold. So the work is for sale and can be picked up when the show is over. And this is always a great exhibit for us for all kinds of reasons, not the least of which is frequently there are a lot of sales because the work is just so extraordinary.
It is. What else haven't we covered that you wanted to make sure the viewers knew?
Well, there's always a lot to talk about. And I think what I hope I can convey is the depth and breadth of our programming. And obviously we focused on the summer arts program for kids, but we have a really outstanding array of classes for adults, in addition to teaching the basics to adults, like painting and drawing and ceramics and sculpture and weaving. We teach things, and we actually teach this to kids as well, but we teach things that you just can't do anyplace else. Like we teach people how to carve stone. And who knew that could be so much fun? I've actually done that myself. It's really an interesting art form, and the kids love it as well. The kids camp classes are super, super popular because it's just not something that you get to do every day. Our adult program is well attended, and we have a lot of people that will come here as rank beginners. Maybe they've never even had a paintbrush in their hands before, or a piece of charcoal. But we also have people here that are well-established professional artists, and they may create and sell a lot of work, and they're here because of the community and the feedback and the way that informs what they do, and they are better artists because of it. So we like to think we appeal to all points in between those two extremes on the spectrum. And a lot of people will come to us later in life. We have lots of stories of people who retire, and then they've always wanted to take an art class, so they come. And we've had people that have turned that experience into whole second careers, successful second careers as producing artists who sell a lot of work. So we have tons of those stories where people have found us as post retirement, or and just made an incredible name for themselves in the art world. So it's pretty impressive.
Well, your not only does your joy and pride come through in all of your programs, it's easily to see why you're so proud, but you have a passion for this, and it's easy to see why you're the executive director, and your care, genuine care and kindness is just, I always want to share or be able to allow you to share what does set you apart, because for me, it's easy to see. And hopefully, and I can tell we've had a lot of people online throughout the whole show, even when we lost you for a little bit. So it's easy to see why you have the most robust or the best programs, summer arts programs and other programs.
I've had the great privilege of doing this job for more than a couple decades now, and I do think it's the greatest job in the world, and I always feel like I just kind of ride the crest of the wave, because there's just a really extraordinary group of people here, both the teachers and the people that are attracted to our programs. There's a marvelous, supportive community. A lot of people tell me that they're here because of the people and the support they find. And sometimes, it's not so easy to take that first step and make yourself vulnerable and take an art class, and you don't know how you're going to how you're
Be
going to do.
intimidating.
And it can be pretty intimidating, pretty scary for a lot of people. But we hear time and time again how easy the other people make it and how supportive other students are in the class. We have a lot of classes that are mixed levels. So the students that are more advanced can, in effect, become teachers for the new students as well. And we hear that a lot too, how much they appreciate and how important what they hear from their fellow students is to them, and sometimes is as important as what they're hearing from their teachers. So
that's evident in what you've been sharing, and actually you answered kind of one of my last questions: what are people saying about some of these programs? And
we hear that a lot, and we hear a lot from the parents that bring their kids here. They'll say, "Oh, I signed up for 1 week this year. Next year we're coming for a month because it was the best camp we did all summer, and my child can't wait to come back." We hear that a lot because the experiences are so special.
That is special, and it's I not having children of my own, but having worked with youth, it's hard to, besides the phones, it's hard to find things that the kids do take pride in, or they're excited about, aside from sports and other events. And that isn't for everyone. So if a child can attend a summer camp and try out different things and they feel good about it and they want to go back, that says everything about your programs.
And a lot of times what they'll also do is then they'll come to camp, they'll get introduced to something, and then they'll sign up for some of those classes that I talked about that happen throughout the school year. And sometimes they're even successful in getting other family members involved. We teach multi-generational classes on the weekends where whole families can come. And you can, all ages, the projects are, geared to the skills of the folks involved, but those multi-generational classes are super, super popular, and a lot of people like to do that on weekends as well. So.
Oh, I love that. Anything else that we haven't covered that you wanted to make sure those that are online know about Minnetonka Center for the Arts, the camps, the programs, the display?
Well, I would just mention a couple of other things. If you haven't been here and you're curious, we do encourage people to come and visit. We have, pretty much any time of the day when we have business hours, we have classes going on. So if people just want to come and see what a class is like, you can visit a class and observe, see what people are doing, try to imagine yourself in the space and doing the same thing. So that's a really nice way to get an introduction and to kind of take that small baby step towards taking a class. We have a gift shop that's open whenever the building is open. So if you're looking for those special one of a kind, can't find it anyplace else, and the holiday show isn't up, you remember how many things we had?
Yes, we did.
A lot of times what we do is we carry some of those same artists that you saw and complimented us on in the holiday show. We carry some of those same artists in our retail shop. And the other thing that we do that a lot of people aren't aware of, if they're not familiar with the organization, is we have a partnership with the Ridgedale Center. So we have over 40 different display units in the Ridgedale Center that exhibit the artwork of some of our students and some of our teachers and other artists in the region, and all that work is available for sale. And that's a nice way to get just another small introduction to who we are and what we do.
Oh, that's great. Wow. Anything else?
Boy, we covered a lot.
We did.
The thing is, Carla, I can keep talking about the Art Center, well past our allotted time, because there's so much to say, because we do so many things. And it's, we've been around since the 50s. So we have a 70+ year history. And during that time, you develop a lot of interesting tracks and interesting relationships. So, I can just keep talking on and on.
Well, we'll have you back again. We have been, and I want to thank everyone who's been online with us the last 45 minutes. It's been a great pleasure having you all. I can tell we've had quite a crowd that's been interested in everything that you've had to share, from the summer camps for the youth ages 5 to 15. We've talked about the Reflections watercolor display, and of course some of the other programs in Minnetonka Center for the Arts in general. A lot of the website and all the information for the summer camps is there, as well as the website would take you to anything else you would need, or feel free to reach out stop by in person, or give them a phone call, email, whatever works best. But it's always a pleasure to have you on, Roxanne. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me up. I appreciate it. Always good to see you. Congratulations on your anniversary coming up. And that's a lot of years of doing some great work, Carla. So you should be very proud. Thank you.
Oh, Roxanne, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate that. And we both thank all of you for tuning in and your interest. We go live Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. Central Time, and we've got a great lineup the rest of April and into May and June. So please join us on Tuesday evenings. If you can't while we're live, the shows stay embedded. Now on Facebook, they do delete them after 30 days, but you could always go to the website and many of our other social media sites as well, because they will stay embedded permanently. Thank you again. Thank you all. And we'll see you hopefully next Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. Central Time, right here on Around Town TV. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.